What's up, studs? Kunal here. Bulls on Wall Street. Holy shamoly, the stock market got smoked today, and we've got a lot to uncover. So let's spend some time figuring out what the heck happened in the market, and then how we are going to trade it for you day traders and swing traders out there. So first of all, the market gapped down yesterday in the futures market on the news that, Trump is going to be doing some tariffs on some of our trading partners in Europe and vice versa. They're coming and doing them back to us all over this island of Greenland. And, we've seen this type of thing before, the posturing and, the jokes and the memes from the Trumpster. He usually just comes back. He's like, I love these guys, they're great people. We fought next to them against Hitler in World War II and we saved their asses. And they're great people. They're friends of mine. And, we know that's coming around. But the question becomes, when, right? And that can happen in different ways. We've seen in the past, you just gap down one day, and then the next day it reverses. And we had a couple days like that, already, though, in this kind of like this cycle of consolidation. So I don't think that's in the cards. We've been in a longer term range for quite some time, right? Really since October. And we're just stuck in this kind of chop zone over here. When Trump caves in, he will at some point. You never know where it's going to be. I think some logical spots are around 600, if not 580. But I would be more surprised if it got down to 580, right? I think, if we get into this kind of 6 zone, then, we can get a little bit of a bouncy McGee. But now let me just say something. The chart on the NASDAQ is a little bit broken, right? It's a little bit broken. So it's not necessarily like you look at this and say like, wow, we're in such a bull market on large cap techs. We're not in a bull market in large cap techs. We are in a slight distribution phase in large cap techs. Where the real action has been in the IWM. IWM held up a lot better, 1.2% today. And frankly, there were a lot of stocks still going pretty hard today in the IWM's mid-cap names. I mean, if you look at the scans, on like what was trending, you see quite a few stocks here making moves 26%, 7%, like all sorts of stuff out of the cheaper groups, though, right? Like you have these kind of names here. And so this mid caps, right? Like you see something like this. This is a beautiful breakout here, right? Like it's not Palantir, but it is a very, very nice look. And so this is where the action is, and I think where we need to be focusing in on is like these kind of mediums, and then, we let the large caps just kind of drift lower. If you look at the large caps, MU is cooking, but you're on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 weeks in a row up on the weekly chart. One red week, and really, so it's like 20 weeks, right? Probably not our cup of tea, right? Netflix capped down on earnings this morning in the after hours, too. And so that's something that's going to put some pressure on, some of the fang bangers and stuff like that too, right? You got a Meta rolling over. I think Google's going to test this 50. Apple, dude, looks nasty, right? Like just all day long fader. Looks nasty. Amazon stuck in range. NVIDIA looks like the Qs where you're just kind of stuck in this wedgie McGee. And Tesla's got a bear flag. So I think the play is this. If we need to short, we short large cap tech, right? You have bear flags here in AVGO. This is your hourly chart over here. This is your weekly chart, your daily chart, and then if you want to go to like, say, a 15-minute chart. Nasty on all levels, and you've got a clean spot there. So I think that's a nice, happy-go-lucky bear flag, all right? I think Tesla is also showing some signs here, right? Bear flag, breaking down on the weekly, your nasty little structure, a little head and shoulders on the hourly. I think that's probably bear flaggy life too. Let's put in Netflix. It'll be stocks for us. It'll be in play tomorrow. And, it's already been rolling over, obviously, for quite some time, but I think that's going to be in play too if we need some shorts, right? Microsoft is also a drifter, but I think this one's probably, it just moved too slow and it's a little bit oversold. Now on the long side, like I said, these mediums are cooking, all right? UAMI, first of all, UAMI, the mediums, that's small, medium. UAMI flag breakout here on the daily chart, got pretty good range. We had a nice little pop on this for a hot second today. Up 11%. That's pretty good. EQX. This is a little gold name here, right? Nice, just kind of flat top breakout over here, over 15. I think this has got a little bit, this has got some upside on it. Hey, apps. This did a little bit of a dimky-do dumper, a digital turbine. I don't know if these guys actually do turbines or not, if they're digital turbines or real turbines. Nobody really knows, but awesome look. You did a full-blown dump and then an engulfing candle today. If you like something a little bit cheaper, that's probably a spot right there. Hey, Light, with NU and, SNDK and some of these kind of names still holding up, the thinner, right, the thinner names out of these kind of bigger $300 stocks. This one held the 50-day moving average. Maybe you get this thing back up into the 4 spot. ONDS, they bought that dip hard today. Gap down just a little bit, went red to green. Great range, great volume, 152 million shares in volume. That's top of the list for tomorrow. Intel, I want all gap downs on this, all pullbacks into support. I'm a buyer of this one. We can go like a week out, 50 calls, something along that end. Great relative strength today, up 5%, up 4.5%, but at one point you're up off 6%. Great look to it. AMD's another one, there's something interesting going on. It was at $200. You've had this huge push even while the market's been drifting. Did have a little bit of an end-of-day fade, but let's see how this thing congeals. It's showing us something, and I'm interested in it. ASTS, all things considered, the dip was bought, fade off in the close. I would love, love, love to see a tap back on this from this old breakout spot. We shredded this a couple days ago. The old breakout spot's back at 103, 102 zone. You come back and hold on to this bad boy. We're having ourselves some fun tomorrow. Let's shred and let's get this going. Tesla, we talked about this. There's a bear flag. If it gaps up tomorrow and then the market starts to roll, we hit this hard. On the Tesla, I would go. I would probably do like the 415 puts, something like that. I think that'll be, with the ATR it's been showing, I think that would be legit. We go 415 puts. Friday expiration. We have ourselves a little bit of fun. And then look, there's a couple of these names that are really holding up well. This APLD, a gap down today. Spike down. Complete reversal, And it did finish back once the gap was faded, kind of back into the middle of the range. But it's really holding its structure pretty well. In all things considered, if the market can just hold up, you've got a $40 breakout in the works on this. FLNC, I've been trying to find an entry on this one for a while. Let's see how we build out into this right here, somewhere into this. I think, we want to be playing into this. Obviously, you guys probably seen BE's been, on a really nice run. Way too extended for us to personally, probably play this till it kind of dumps off a little bit. But, there's a whole host of these kind of names that are still setting up here. I think EOC, everybody's watching this one. There's a 19. We want this thing to kind of do this, right? We need it to shake it and then come back. So it's like dump, pull, retest this breakout spot. And I think get that EMA, just tightening up under the kitchen on this thing. I think we're going to be in for some fun. Beyond that, man, there's still a lot of stocks that are looking pretty good. Lunar had a decent bid today, for a good chunk of the day, and then it fade off in the close too. But I think, look, markets do this. I think a lot of people were probably heavy long. The market was gangbusters last week and the week before. I think probably people were probably a little bit heavy long. You get caught upside down a little bit on some of these, weekend news events. I wouldn't worry too much about it. This IWM is holding its structure. If it pulls back here to 258 tomorrow, we go with the 270 puts or 270 calls. We go a couple weeks out. I think we'll be in pretty happy, maybe 3 weeks out, something like that, and we'll have some fun. So give me a pull on this one. If the market holds, I think that's probably the play, and then we've got all these fun stuff. So trade safe, There's some volatility happening in large cap land, but the mediums are trading slightly better. Rule of thumb when the market is in this kind of distribution, herky-jerky, where you're kind of crisscrossing around in between your EMAs. Do not buy high of days. Don't do the momentum trades like where you're like, oh, wow, it's going red to green, up near highs or something like, if you see like, something like this where you're kind of trying to chase something up. No. You need like these kind of pulls, and then you want to sell into the spikes, right? In a hot momentum, you can buy high, sell higher. In this market, you want to shift it a little bit, buy low, sell high kind of thing, all right? I love you guys. Peace. Let me know if you have any questions.